Hi, welcome to Reawakening Beauty. I'm your host, Shawna Patruno. I'm so excited to have you here. I love talking about all things skin-related, beauty-related, and mind-related. Here I empower you, mind, body, skin, and soul. I'm here with Chloé, and you are a musician, and you just recently have launched your song, Ready, and I'm fascinated to know the story behind that and what it means for you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Happy to be here. But yeah, so super excited about Ready. But Ready was actually inspired kind of by my own period of surrender and self-discovery. I had somebody that I really highly respected in the industry tell me that I wasn't ready and ready for bigger things and whatnot. And had been doing, I felt like everything that I was supposed to be doing. I was doing everything right. I was hustling. I was, able somehow to manage having, a social life, having a career. My career was still first and foremost, still going to the gym, doing everything, writing every single day, 2 sessions a day, playing shows, building a fan base, like doing everything I was supposed to be doing. But I definitely was always looking at the future. I feel like I was really just distracting myself from the fact that I probably or wasn't fulfilled like in the present moment. I was just burning myself out. When he said this to me, I was like, I am ready. What are you talking about? And I really genuinely felt like I was, but I realized I also wasn't making any bigger movements because I was so afraid that if I made any sudden changes that everything else around me would fall apart. Basically, I just couldn't let go. I needed to have control over everything. And I realized that I was just stopping myself. And so it kind of gave me the spark to make moves, basically.
I love that. So, was there a mindset shift that you had to be ready? What was that change and pivot in your mindset?
Yeah, honestly, it was me realizing that I was already kind of free if I made this decision to be that it was really just up to me to decide that and to make these decisions that needed to be made. I felt like needed to be made to be happy. And I needed to let go of whatever the outcome came from those decisions. And I think for a long time, I was I was so afraid that once again, that if I made any sudden movements in one area of my life, even if it felt intuitively like I should do it, that something else would fall away. And I wasn't ready, I think, for the longest time to give that up, if that were to happen. And so for me, it was wait, hold on. I hate when people tell me what to do too. So I think when somebody told me, oh, you're not ready. And I was like, excuse me. It was kind of this wake up call of yes, I am. Yes, I am. Let's start acting like it. And not in the sense that I wasn't going for it before, because I absolutely was, but it was a different sort of level, and it affected every area of my life, honestly. And there were some shifts that I had been delaying, I feel like making, because I was just scared. I really was just afraid of, losing an opportunity or, disappointing somebody or, you know what I mean? All of those different things I was afraid of. And that was up to me to just change, to know that whatever was meant to happen for me was going to happen if I were to trust my intuition, because I wasn't really happy in that moment. And I'm a very happy person, but I think I was just justifying left and right. Oh, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. I can be fully happy later. I'm happy enough right now, I guess, it was kind of settling. So yeah, I kind of just had to flip the switch. And for me, writing this song was really the first step in doing that. It was very liberating to do that. And then with that came taking some action. And so my first action there was actually making a move to LA, back to where I'm from Nashville, to get a change of scenery and switch things up and just be somewhere that I know made me happy. And LA, California makes me so happy. And I knew that. So I was let's go with my gut instinct there. So yeah.
I love that. So you're stepping into being ready for all these changes and actually taking a leap of faith. Was there also, you talked a little bit about that shift. What would you give our listeners on how you keep a strong mindset Like, what helped you trust your intuition rather than this person saying, even though they had the best intention, like, you're not ready? What made you be like, I am?
Yeah. I started noticing that when I did little things that made me happy, when I followed those little instincts, the rewards that I felt inside when I did them, you know what I mean? Like it could be as simple as me, like I love to be outside. So making a choice to every day go on a walk outside and it would make me feel good. And so I was like, wait, why don't I do that with every area of my life? Why am I not just living for right now? Like, why can't I be happy right now? Like, what is stopping me? Why can't I do the things that I want to do right now? Like, it was always, I felt like I was just chasing this idea of happiness because I had these like expectations in mind rather than just appreciating kind of like, or trying to find peace at the moment that I like had everything that I needed. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I can totally relate to that very much. So I think a lot of people, for myself or any of our listeners, I think we have this idea, whether it be for you, it's your music career, and I'm sure you have other goals and aspirations, which I would love to follow up with. But a lot of us search for things outside of ourselves, and we don't realize where we are in the moment is actually exactly where we need to be. And we can be happy with what we've achieved already. But I think society norms try to trick us. And so what would you say to your younger self, knowing now what you know now? What would you say to last year before you were ready?
Yeah. I would say a big thing for me was like, why are you worrying about things that you literally have no control over? Why are you spending time stressing about things that are, just out of your hands, really? Because nothing is going to, you could sit there all day and be like, why isn't this happening? Why don't I have like the perfect boyfriend, or not that there is a perfect anybody, but why don't I have like that ideal partner? Or why don't I have the record deal yet? Rather than, focusing on, okay, like what makes me happy that I think might get me closer to this goal, like what can I do right now in this present moment to bring me joy? Because when you're happy in the present moment, when you feel fulfilled, everything else seems to fall in place. And when you look back, you realize that. And I think another thing too is, realizing that everything that you currently have at one point you probably wanted, and you probably have it right now. So I think there's something wonderful that comes with gratitude, and also just realizing that like you really do, like alone, like right now, without anything else around you, it's like you really do have everything you possibly actually need to be happy. And, of course, there's things that we want, and it's amazing to have dreams and everything. And I think that you need to be able to like expect success. Like that's what drives us, but you can't expect to know what that's going to look like at the end of the day.
I agree with everything that you're saying. Releasing it and allowing it. I believe we're abundant in all aspects. And as long as you're taking the action, we can't control the outcome. But as long as you're doing your little part and you're doing the things in the moment to make yourself feel happy.
Sure. Well, and it's a lot easier to make those decisions that you've been so hesitant to make, or like for the longest time, I could not make a decision. And it's something that, I think we all struggle with. I really did and do still, of course, struggle with making decisions. And I think that at the same time, though, when you find peace within, or you're able to quiet your mind and get better at that, it's something that we're always working towards. You're able to make decisions better because they're coming from the heart, you know what I mean? And you're able to let go of whatever those outcomes are. You can make them a lot more fearlessly. So it's like you are still taking action, but you're letting go at the exact same time. And I think people get confused with this idea of like, oh, well, like letting go means like completely just like sitting back, not taking action. No, it does mean sitting back, but you're sitting back and actually taking action at the exact same time.
It's inspired action rather than reacting or chasing something.
Exactly. 100%.
So what would you say with your mission with your music? You just had an amazing performance, which was very acoustic, and I loved it. And you did a wonderful job. Do you have a mission with your music, or is this just like a journey that you're on and you're allowing it to flow with yourself? Is it more a journey with your music or a journey with yourself?
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, overall, it's a journey with myself. Of course, I feel like it is part of my purpose as like a person, but I think it's a whole, everything that I want to touch, I want to be part of this mission. There's so much negativity in the world that tends to overshadow so much wonderful light and sunshine and happiness. And I think that there is that. And sometimes we forget that still exists. And so I feel like for me, I love to make people feel included. I want people to come together. I want people to feel related to, and I want, just to put out that good energy, because it definitely continues on. It's like a domino effect. Yeah, that's what it is. So the more that I am able to do that, and I'm able to be vulnerable and honest and human and have somebody else relate to that, I think then they'll do the same, and then they'll be able to be their best selves, put that out there, and then it'll just continue on. There's a lot of people that put out a lot of dark stuff, and I get it. I'm here for being totally honest as well. But I think at the end of the day, we still have a lot of love to give and show. And that's what people need right now and all the time, really.
That's so beautiful. And I really get that vibe. So I'm going to have all of your information in the show notes. So if anybody's looking to follow you, you can kind of take a peek in the show notes as you're listening right now. So one of the other things that I wanted to ask you, I won't take too much of your time, is there something that you would like people to know about you that they don't know, like a passion project or something that you're working on that you would like to educate people on right now?
For me, I'm always trying to do anything creative, literally anything creative. And so for me, I'm designing I have a jewelry line that I've designed. I'm trying to design more merchandise. Part of this jewelry line that I'm really excited about is that it's all around this concept of nothing is impossible. And so there's these little tags that are on the back of every single piece of jewelry that say nothing is impossible. And they have a little CC for Chloé Caroline. So that's something fun. Yeah, for me, I'm always trying to do different creative things. It's a big picture thing rather than just music. Music is obviously what brings me so much happiness and joy, but I think it touches every little part of my life, hopefully.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to see your jewelry. You'll have to let me see. I love that kind of stuff. Question before we wrap up. Do you have a tip for someone who's putting themselves out there, maybe on the internet with their confidence, and how to detach from what other people with the likes? I feel like so many people are attached to, is this producing what I want it to produce? Yeah. And how to alleviate that, because you're in the limelight. So how do you detach from that and not, pardon me, give a shit what other people think?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Yeah. It is very difficult, but it is possible. And I think what's made it possible for me, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm never affected by not getting the likes or response that I want with something. But once again, it's just that's having an expectation of a specific outcome, and that being what's driving you to post something rather than it being something that you're posting because it is from the heart. It's from the soul. You're doing it for you. And of course, especially when it comes to music, a song that is meaningful to me and I want to affect other people. Of course, I want them to have a response to it. I want to know that it's, that they're relating to it. I want to know that they feel something from it. But I also have to remind myself that not everybody is ever going to like you. It's just the reality of it. Everybody is on their own mission. They're doing their own thing. They've got their own likes and opinions and whatever. And to not take it so personally. I think that's been a big, major thing for me, especially in the past year, is to stop taking people's, I guess, inaction, or I don't know what it'd be called, their lack of response as a personal attack. And it's really easy to do that. So for me, when I, don't get the response that I necessarily would want, I usually kind of just have to take a step back and I go inside and I'm like, okay, well, why did I do this in the first place? For me, once again, it's always because what is your why, behind something? And for me, my why is because it brings me joy. And if one person can feel like it brought them some sort of whatever emotion, relatability, anything brought them closer to themselves, then I've done my job. You know, like that's it. I've done my job. If it affects a million people, great. But if I affected one person, that's my why right there personally. So, you know, of course I have bigger goals. I want to spread that to as many people as possible. But at the end of the day, if you have to start small, you start small. And once again, it's a lot of this stuff's out of your control, especially with social media, the algorithm stuff with just like the straight facts that when somebody posts a picture in a bikini, it just immediately is going to catch people's eyes. It just is. It's just how it goes. But if you continue to post stuff that is true to you and authentic, those people are going to continue to be attracted to you, and then it's just going to pick up and the numbers are going to increase. That's just how it works. So I think that's what you have to remind yourself, but it is difficult.
Absolutely. And the other thing that I think is really that I wanted to just kind of add on there is that maybe they don't see it right now, but who knows, the people like who will see it in a year, and then maybe it blows up in that time, because I really believe what we put out there, the right people find at the right time. Mm-hmm. I don't think time is linear. I think time is kind of expansive. So the people who need it when they need it. So who knows, that song that maybe didn't get as much traction, or that picture on my whatever, in a year that could blow up. So as long as you're putting the intention and you know what's behind the intention, I think for our listeners to know, like, there's a bigger energy behind that. And whatever you place with a good intention, that grows and that has a ripple impact.
100%. I think at the end of the day, with literally everything, you have to lead with love. You have to lead from the heart, and then you can't have any regrets.
I'm excited for you. So is there anything else that you wanted to say before we wrap up?
Yeah. I think I really try to connect with as many people as possible, especially people that support my music and my career, my life. And I'm on my own journey and you're on your own journey, but I definitely want to continue to connect with people. So please don't hesitate to reach out. I do my best to get back to everybody, and you know, let's spread the message of light and love, and it'll continue on and on and on, hopefully.
It will. No, not hopefully, it will.
Well, you're right. It will. What am I talking about? It will. I need to stand behind what I just said. It will.
It's a ripple impact. We're growing.
Yes, exactly.
And I can attest that you're just as amazing. I've had a few conversations with you, so definitely do give her a follow, listen to her music. It comes from a really good place. Thank you so much for being on the show today. And I look forward to maybe talking to you about your new jewelry line and all the fun stuff you're doing.
Yay. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too. Thank you so much for listening to the latest episode of Reawakening Beauty. Subscribe to the podcast, hear more inspirational stories and tips related to all things mind, beauty, skin, and soul. I also encourage you to check out the show notes for additional information about my guest, the topics discussed during the episode, and of course, more information about me, your host, Shawna Patruno. If you want to be a guest on the show or just want to reach out and say hi, you can reach me on Instagram, LinkedIn, or email. All these details can be found in my show notes. Thank you so much for listening and have an amazing day.